Honorable Deputy Ministers from our BRICS countries, and welcome all the officials who are here with us to this very important gathering of the BRICS Ministers of Education. Again, greetings to you colleagues, Ministers of Education and Deputy Ministers from BRICS member states, the Honorable Minister of Higher Education from Namibia, who has been invited as our guest, the Chairperson of the BRICS Education Senior Officials Meeting, and the Director General of the Department of Higher Education and Training, Dr. Sishi. The Director General of the Department of Basic Education, Mr. Mweli, and your senior officials, and all the senior officials from the BRICS member states. I welcome you to the 10th meeting of BRICS Ministers of Education. I trust you had a restful night here at the Kruger National Park. I hope you found it peaceful, despite the fact that you were in the middle of the animals. Let me formally recognize Dr. Regina Mhaule, who is the Deputy Minister of Basic Education in South Africa. Let me also recognize my colleagues, Ms. Denise Pires de Cavallo, the Vice Minister of Education and Secretary of State for Higher Education from the Federative Republic of Brazil. And also welcome Dr. Konstantin Mogilevsky, the Deputy Minister of Science and Higher Education from the Russian Federation, Dr. Rajkumar Ranjan Singh, the Minister of State for Education and External Affairs from the Republic of India, Dr. Chen Ji, Vice Minister of Education from the People's Republic of China, and our invited guest from Namibia, Dr. Ita Kanji Murangi, the Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation from the Republic of Namibia. All the guests that are here, I welcome you to this. And the meeting of the BRICS Ministers of Education is a platform of the ministers to deliberate on strategic matters concerning education as they relate to the identified thematic areas for the session. The officials have considered all 8 thematic areas as identified in our program. I don't have to go through them. These thematic areas are not only resonating with our priorities for South Africa's BRICS chairship, but they are at the center of South Africa's National Development Plan. South Africa's post-school education and training system is envisioned to respond to the immediate needs of the economy, including providing skills and talent that is necessary for prosperity of our country and the entire African continent. Our Department of Basic Education provides an important foundation to that, and also to allow flexibility for our students to enter the various fields of post-school education and training. This is the first face-to-face BRICS meeting since COVID-19. That is why I particularly welcome you here. And within BRICS, of course, most of the post-school education and training matters are covered by the BRICS Network Universities, the BRICS TVET Cooperation Alliance. Our BRICS think tank, which has been established, deals largely with all matters relating to BRICS and education generally. We therefore are requesting you today ministers to express yourselves so that what we come up with here is something that reflects our consensus. We also have a draft declaration for your adoption, which will require to be forwarded to the meeting of the heads of state when they meet next month. So with that then, please allow me to invite the Vice Minister of Higher Education of the Federative Republic of Brazil to make her opening remarks, and I request member states to ensure that their opening remarks are delivered within 5 minutes. My colleague from Brazil, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Blade Nzimande, Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation from the Republic of South Africa. I would like to salute also Dr. Regina Mauli, Deputy Minister of Basic Education from the Republic of South Africa, Dr. Singh, Minister of State for Education, External Affairs, Republic of India, Dr. Konstantin Mijilevsk, Deputy Minister of Science and Education from the Russian Federation, Dr. Shen Ji, Vice Minister of Education, the People's Republic of China, and our invited guest from Namibia, Dr. Ita Kaji Murandi, Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, Republic of Namibia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to participate in this meeting that's about responsive and relevant education and training in the current global context. And in particular, it's very important for us to discuss these 8 important subjects during this BRICS meeting. These are 8 very, very important themes for all of our BRICS countries. In Brazil, we have recently launched some programs focused on these, some of them focused on these themes. For example, on basic education, we have launched a program called Literacy in the Right Age, also full-time elementary and high school education, because it's very important for the youth to be full-time at school. Also school connectivity with pedagogic purposes, and the recomposition of the value of school meals that are very important for our children in Brazil, especially the vulnerable ones. We have also adjusted the values and number of scholarships that are necessary for the stay of the most socially vulnerable students at the schools and in universities. Our public universities in Brazil, either federal or state universities, are all of them research universities. We still have a great problem in Brazil regarding these universities, because science in Brazil is mainly performed in these institutions, because they behave as institutes of science and technology. But the average percentage of the population with doctorate degree in Brazil is 5 times less than in the mean or the media of OECD countries. So we have to form more doctors in Brazil. Those research universities have a great and important work to do that is related to the increase in the number of doctorates in our country, what can help the socioeconomic development. I would like also to reinforce the role of Brazilian basic and applied science in promoting applied research and development through the interaction between universities and industry, which creates an innovative ecosystem and allows knowledge transfer. We are going to discuss more about that during the discussion today. All our educational institutions, and in particular these universities, and also the newer institutes for professional and technological education that have been created in 2008, are central in these important issues, the interaction between higher education, technological education, and the industry. Nowadays, we have to discuss more also about initial and continuing training of teachers, how to mitigate climate change, the importance of sustainable economy, renewable energies, energy sources, energy and social transition that are occurring all over the world. Because from our point of view, the energy transition that is happening and must happen to face climate changes, it will be accompanied by a social transition, a change of work. We also have to discuss about men and women machine interaction and artificial intelligence. Regarding our cooperation with the BRICS member states, we have nowadays cooperation with Russia, which includes 16 Brazilian universities and 32 Russian institutions with 42 agreements. In India, our cooperation includes 18 Brazilian universities, 21 Indian institutions, and 28 agreements. Regarding China cooperation, it includes 26 Brazilian universities, 75 Chinese institutions, and approximately 80 agreements. And our cooperation with South Africa, Minister, includes 12 Brazilian universities and 8 South African institutions, 17 agreements. So with these numbers, I will finalize now, and I hope that our discussion will be very good, excellent today, to discuss these 8 themes that are very important for the cooperation of our countries. I will detail more about these cooperations today later on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you very much. I would then request Dr. Konstantin Mogilevsky, sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, the Deputy Minister of Science and Higher Education from the Russian Federation. Over to you, Minister.
Уважаемый министр высшего образования, науки и технологий ЮАР, господин Блейн Дзиманда, уважаемый заместитель министра начального образования ЮАР, госпожа Магаба Реджина Хаули, уважаемый заместитель министра и секретарь высшего образования Бразилии, госпожа Денис Перес де Карвальо, уважаемый министр образования и иностранных дел Индии, господин Раджкумар Ранджан Сингх, уважаемый заместитель министра образования Китая, господин Чен Цзе, а также уважаемые гости, уважаемые коллеги, от лица Министерства науки и высшего образования России рад приветствовать всех на 10-й юбилейной встрече министров образования стран БРИКС.
Meeting of ministers
Нам наконец удалось встретиться друг с другом лично на гостеприимной южноафриканской земле.
on the hospitable land of South Africa. Many thanks to Mr. Blade and all the friends from South Africa for the informed content
В национальном парке заповеднике.
organization of today's meeting in the oldest national park reserve.
Собрали нашу Big Five.
Today, the Big Five were gathered here.
Мир вокруг нас
The world around us
стремительно меняется.
is transforming rapidly.
Азия,
The nations of Asia, Africa, and Latin America are consolidating their economic power, demonstrating their commitment to defending their sovereign national interests and playing a meaningful role in global processes. These principles once formed the basis for interaction with BRICS, where countries are working together to build a common future on the basis of partnership. We see that this format is generating interest and response among many countries outside the organization.
наша встреча
It
проходит
is
на фоне хороших новостей.
nothing that the meeting is taking place against the background
По
of
всей
good.
видимости,
BRICS will soon expand with new members.
уже 19 стран выразили
There are 19 countries that have expressed their willingness to join us.
исчерпа.
As South Africa's BRICS Sherpa, Mr. Anil Sukal, put in the other day, the concept for the expansion of the
Момент
interstate
создания
association has already been formed. Since the foundation, BRICS has been demonstrating unity and a pragmatic approach to addressing common issues and finding answers to global challenges. We believe that humanitarian cooperation should continue regardless of politics and that the international commitments undertaken should be honored. Education is a fundamental value and at the same time a unique field for creativity. The BRICS Network University is one of the tools in the humanitarian sphere. Our main goal is to provide students with the widest possible range of opportunities for high-quality, inclusive, and continuous learning and knowledge sharing. As of today, our 8-year project has a good framework for further effective cooperation. It is crucial to develop important mainstreams within the university, which will allow students to acquire new competencies in accordance with the requirements of the changing labor market. We strongly support the urgent need to expand the number of universities participating in our pan-national educational community. This will give impetus to the development of bilateral and multilateral and educational programs, as well as promote active exchange of best practices for the benefit of our union. We also look forward to the adoption of fresh practical initiatives in the field of education. We are convinced that the development of new forms and mechanisms of cooperation will enrich the BRICS educational community and provide access to the unique education systems of our countries. In conclusion, for my part, I would like to reiterate that only through joint effort can we find solutions that will strengthen and multiply the potential of BRICS to achieve global results. I wish you all fruitful work. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. I think you have said something very interesting, that the Big Five is gathered here. So there is the BRICS Big Five and the Kruger National Park's Big Five. That's a wonderful way of putting it. Thank you very much. Can I now hand over to Dr. Rajkumar Ranjan Singh, Minister of State for Education and External Affairs, Republic of India. Over
Thank
to
you. Your Excellencies, distinguished delegates, colleagues and friends, it is my pleasure and honor to participate in the 10th meeting of the BRICS Ministers of Education. It is certainly a moment to rejoice as we complete a decade of fruitful collaboration and strong cooperation in the field of education. I thank the South African chair for organizing this meeting in the refreshing surroundings of Sukuzwa, thus providing us a much-needed opportunity to connect with nature and witness its marvels. It is heartening to meet my BRICS colleagues in our first ever in-person meeting after a gap of 5 long years. Excellencies, the theme of responsive and relevant education and training in the current global context, as chosen by the South African presidency, is topical and of utmost relevance to all of us. BRICS nations represent around 41% of the world's population. In a fast-changing world which faces various challenges, many of which cut across boundaries, it is imperative that we work collectively to strengthen our education and training system so as to equip our nations with tools for skillfully navigating the constantly evolving landscape. Excellencies, while we talk about challenges, we should also talk about the opportunities that BRICS hold. Together, we can work in synergy to contextualize our education and training system to reap our democratic dividend or demographic dividend and create a dynamic workforce which is forward-looking, adaptive, and aligned to the future of work. In these endeavors, we are guided by the BRICS spirit, fostering natural mutual respect and understanding, equality, solidarity, openness, inclusiveness, and consensus. Excellency, with the introductions of the National Education Policy in 2020, India has made a paradigm shift towards the way it views education and training. The NEP marks a quantum leap towards holistic education aimed at imparting vital life skill for maneuvering changing global realities while still meaningfully contributing to the nation and the world at large. Excellencies, as I said by our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, India's national education policy addresses the special need of the 21st century by promoting a systematic transformation from rote learning to practical learning. A system where more emphasis is laid on learning rather than teaching for the overall personality development of a student and to innovate learning methods from time to time. Excellency, I would like to highlight the role of education by saying Sanskrit slok, na chaturhayam, na cha rajahayam, na sa bharat bhayam, na sa bharat kri. Ve karte bhart evam nityam bhatyam sabatanam pradhanam, which means it can neither be plundered by a thief, nor can be squeezed by the king, can be divided by brothers or not, and does not fall on consumption. The role of education is spent, or the more the education is spent, the more it grows. We have today many issues to deliberate upon. I look forward to fruitful discussion under your esteemed chairmanship. I look forward for our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Singh, for your words, opening remarks. Can I then take this opportunity to call upon Dr. Chen Ji, Vice Minister of Education, People's Republic of China. Over to you, sir.
尊敬的南非高教科创部部长恩奇曼迪部长，南非的基础教育部的姆豪莱副部长，尊敬的巴西康瓦略副部长，俄罗斯莫西涅夫斯基副部长，印度辛格国务部长，各位女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家上午好。
Идет звук.
很高兴今天在线下出席第10届金砖国家教育部长会议，与各位部长面对面的互化历史友谊，共谋金砖合作，向主办方共谋金砖合作，共促教育发展。首先，我谨代表中国教育部向主办方南非高等教育与科创部的精心安排和热情接待表示诚挚的感谢。当今世界正面临的100年未有之大变局，
What is happening with translation? Excuse me, Minister. Is it the terminology? Yeah, we can hear the sound
是
in the background, except that we are not getting the translation.
这个好吧？
Can we test? Apologies, ministers.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. May we start again?
Maybe let's start again at the beginning, ministers.
尊敬的南非高教科创部恩奇曼迪部长，南非基础教育部
And then also the deputy minister from the basic education,
副部长，印度辛格国务
also all the deputy ministers from India,
尊敬的各位
Russia,
女士们、
and
先
then
生们、
all
朋友
the
们，
ladies and gentlemen, friends. Good morning.
很高兴今天
It is a great pleasure
第10届
to attend the 10th BRICS Education Ministers meeting
面对面的
and discuss this historical friendship,
合作，
seek
教育发展。
BRICS cooperation, and jointly promote educational development with all the ministers. First of all, on behalf of the Ministry of Education of China, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the organizer, South African Ministry of Higher Education and Innovation, for their meticulous arrangement and warm reception. The world today is facing major changes unseen in a century. Chinese President Xi Jinping pointed out that we need to organize BRICS cooperation in the historical process of the evolution of the international structure. Work together to overcome challenges and forge ahead hand in hand in the process of unity and cooperation. Under the strategic guidance of the leaders of the 5 countries, the BRICS countries have strengthened their beliefs and strengthened their unity, and are promoting the development of BRICS practical cooperation towards higher quality. Education is an important field of the BRICS cooperation mechanism. Since the establishment of the BRICS Education Ministers Meeting mechanism in 2013, the fields of education cooperation among the 5 countries have continued to expand. The content of cooperation has continued to deepen, and faithful results have been achieved. During this period, higher education cooperation platforms such as BRICS University Airlines, BRICS Network University, and BRICS Vocational Educational Airlines were established, and a number of cooperation projects such as BRICS Winter and Summer Schools were launched. In the future, with the advancement of digital technology and adjustment of industrial structure, we should continue to expand new areas of cooperation according to the needs of economic and social development, and jointly solve problems and challenges in the field of education. This meeting of Minister of Education is at the right time. The 8 topics set at the meeting, including climate change education, training, further skills and entrepreneurship training, will reflect the current opportunities and challenges facing global education, and also highlight the new mission of education development in the BRICS countries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. Can I now call upon Dr. Mhaule, the Deputy Minister of Basic Education, Republic of South Africa, to make opening remarks.
Thank you so much, Chairperson Dr. Blayton Zimande, Minister of Higher Education in South Africa. Greetings also to all ministers from the 5 countries, that is Federative Republic of Brazil, Russia Federation, People's Republic of China, Republic of India, as well as Republic of Namibia that are present today here. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Delivering the opening remarks at the 10th BRICS meeting of BRICS Ministers of Education held here in South Africa is a rare honor and privilege. We extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to all participants as we gather in our beloved country, the land of Nelson Mandela. With its rich history and diverse culture, South Africa is honored to host the 10th meeting of BRICS Ministers of Education. Today we gather to address critical issues on collaborative solutions. One pressing challenge we face is the issue of out-of-school youth, the out-of-school youth. Despite progress made, approximately 263 million children worldwide lack access to education, and BRICS countries are not exempt, mainly due to the ongoing impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. In South Africa alone, the quarterly labor force survey reveals that 3.4 million young people aged between 15 and 24 are not in employment, education, or training. The majority of these young people are unemployed, discouraged, job seekers, or inactive, with higher rates among young women, black youth, and those in rural areas. These individuals have fallen through the cracks in our education and training system. We as education ministries must develop second chance programs that enhance completion rates and provide opportunities for those who didn't meet the requirement of secondary education. The 10th meeting of BRICS Ministers of Education offers a valuable platform to exchange experiences and insight on effective interventions for out-of-school youth. Chairperson, in our ever-changing world, labor markets undergo globalization and intense competition for skills. Government face the challenge of managing these markets and addressing skills mismatches and shortages. Employers struggle to find skilled workers, while school leavers and graduates struggle to find suitable job opportunities. In our primary and secondary schooling system, we must adapt to equip learners with the necessary skills. The volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world presents unprecedented challenge requiring a broad range of competencies for success. Education is crucial in enabling young individuals to fulfill their potentials, thinking critically, and participate in society. Let us share our experiences, successes, and challenges in equipping learners for the changing world. South Africa has undergone a paradigm shift to ensure a seamless continuum of early learning from birth to school, viewing early childhood development not merely as a care function, but as an integrated approach encompassing early learning, development, and care. As of 2022, the responsibility for implementing early childhood development in South Africa has been entrusted to the Department of Basic Education. Since assuming this responsibility, the Department of Basic Education has diligently established systems to better resource and support the early childhood development. This is essential developing a new service delivery model to provide all children in South Africa with access to a comprehensive range of services to support their growth and development. Our vision involves a publicly planned and coordinated mixed provisioning model that empowers families and caregivers to access age and developmentally appropriate services tailored to their children's needs. For the success of this model, sufficient funding, robust intergovernmental collaboration, and a capable workforce are imperative. We recognize that the challenges faced in ECD in South Africa are not unique, and as they are shared by many developing countries worldwide. In this regard, the opportunity to learn from our esteemed challenges, best practices, and experiences within BRICS network is invaluable to us. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenges ahead are immense, but our collective determination and shared knowledge will lead us to transformative solutions. Let us embrace this opportunity to collaborate, learn, and work towards a future where no child is left behind, but all have access to quality education and the skills to thrive in an ever-changing world. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Deputy Minister, Dr. Mhaule. I would like now that we proceed. Firstly, let me start by welcoming my colleague, Dr. Ita Kanji Murangi, from Namibia, who has joined us now as our guest to this meeting. And she has kindly indicated that she will make her own intervention in the next session. You are most welcome, Minister. Thank you very much. I'm going to be calling upon now the Director General of the Department of Higher Education and Training from the Republic of South Africa, who's also chairing and leading the BRICS Education Officials meeting, to then just take us through, in not more than 15 minutes, a report on the outcomes of the BRICS Education Senior Officials meeting, so that as ministers, we are all aware of what has transpired there. Over to you, Dr. Sishi, to take us through the outcomes of the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. The chairperson of the 10th meeting of BRICS Ministers of Education, Honorable Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Dr. Bonginkosi Emmanuel Nzimande, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers present today, senior officials of governments represented in this meeting, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of my colleagues who are the leading delegations of senior officials from the Federative Republic of Brazil, Russian Federation, the Republic of India, the People's Republic of China, and my colleagues from the Republic of South Africa, I am very honored to submit a summary of the report of the BRICS Education Senior Ministers meeting held on the 12th of July 2023 at this facility of Skukuza Safari Lodge in the beautiful province of Mpumalanga. The 5 BRICS member states have in various ways adopted and implemented programs and strategies to ensure the responsiveness and quality of their education systems at primary, secondary, and tertiary levels. The BRICS mechanisms has the overarching objective and strong and shared values of peace, security, development, and cooperation. BRICS also aims at contributing significantly to the development of humanity and the establishment of a more equitable and fair world. The BRICS Education Senior Officials meeting is taking place at a time where the world is grasping to manage a just transition to climate change and recover from COVID-19 pandemic, which triggered the largest global economic crisis in more than a century and exacerbated inequalities globally. The theme of responsive and relevant education and training in the current global context has enabled discussions on issues of mutual interest to BRICS member states in relation to the thematic areas covering climate change, global ranking for universities, entrepreneurship development, out-of-school youth, labor market intelligence, mutual recognition of qualifications with BRICS, within the BRICS nations, skills for the changing world, and early childhood development. BRICS Education Senior Officials meeting reaffirmed their commitment to collaborate, share, and advance the achievement of common goals for mutual development in these areas. Honorable Chairperson, these priorities also build on the collective work over 10 years of BRICS cooperation on education, from the BRICS Network Universities to the BRICS Think Tank Council, and now lately the BRICS TVET Cooperative Alliance. Please permit me to elaborate a little bit more on the 8 thematic areas, starting with climate change. All BRICS member states reaffirmed their commitment to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 13, which aims to combat climate change and its impact. Education and training play a key and pivotal role to develop resilience against such impacts of climate change. The Federative Republic of Brazil, as other countries, has serious commitments to climate change and its dire consequences. Actions proposed include improvement of education, awareness raising, human and institutional capacity on climate change mitigation, adaptation, the impact reduction, and early warning systems. Education and training programs can improve climate literacy and promote environmental friendly lifestyles among people, especially children and youth. Education serves to motivate people to play their part in mitigating the devastating effects of climate change. The second area of consideration by the senior officials was in the area of university global ranking and evaluation systems. BRICS member states agree that there is a need to rethink and reimagine the global rankings for universities because it tends to be skewed towards valuing the priorities and context of universities of the global north. China, for example, has taken the initiative to develop an evaluation system that emphasizes the quality of research outputs. Such systems should be focused on evaluating the quality of research by various departments of a university and how these contribute to the development of humankind. It should seek to integrate cultural and indigenous knowledge of each country, respecting our diverse member states and its diverse cultures. On entrepreneurship, the senior officials of BRICS member states shared extensive initiatives in entrepreneurship development, focusing also on out-of-school youth. India, for example, has developed institutes for entrepreneurship development as well as promulgating an enabling environment for startups and innovation. Through partnerships with countries like Germany, India has implemented a program for women entrepreneurship development. On the same vein, the Russian Federation has an entrepreneurship boiling point initiative which facilitates access for student-owned entrepreneurship schemes to access markets. The Russian Federation also provides financial support to entrepreneurial development. The meeting agreed to strengthen entrepreneurship development at all levels of education and training amongst BRICS member states and impact the requisite skills set to students to consider self-employment as a valuable career path. On out-of-school youth, the senior officials of BRICS member states agreed on sharing of experiences and initiatives in delivering responsive and relevant programs for out-of-school youth to ensure employability and absorption in the labor market. India, for example, has launched an out-of-school youth initiative that employs a number of interventions, including recognition of prior learning, new courses to build capacity for skills in amongst other areas, including artificial intelligence, machine learning, drones, banking and retail. These are meant to facilitate lifelong learning for their out-of-school youth. On labor market intelligence, we believe that delivering responsive and relevant programs for the out-of-school youth using labor market intelligence is essential to address the challenges they face in accessing education and employment opportunities. By using labor market intelligence, we can design programs that align with the needs of employers and equip learners with the skills and knowledge that is needed to succeed in their chosen career paths. And this approach has numerous benefits for out-of-school youth, including increased employment opportunities, economic mobility, and reduced risk of poverty and social exclusion. BRICS provides a platform that creates opportunities for synergy on collaboration and agreements addressing global skills gaps and leading to formulation of common approaches on global skills and qualifications taxonomies. BRICS member states agreed to the sharing of labor market information to guide education and skills development interventions to address skills mismatch and skills shortages in the context of a rapid changing world of work. On mutual recognition of qualifications and in line with the Global Education 2030 Agenda, BRICS member states aim to improve the quality and enhance international cooperation on higher education and training. The Republic of South Africa, like most BRICS countries, has already established an enabling legislation and policy environment as found in the National Qualifications Framework and the National Qualifications Act that established the South African Qualifications Authority and the robust and ethical quality assurance systems and quality councils. In the BRICS context, South Africa has already entered into mutual recognition of qualifications agreements with China and Russia, and since 2019, the mutual recognition of qualifications process was initiated with Brazil, and this is a work in progress. The BRICS member states are exploring the following actions as we conclude: to process the ratification of the Global Convention on the Recognition of Qualifications concerning higher education, to share information, experience, and expertise between countries on qualifications frameworks, quality assurance, and country mechanisms to recognize foreign qualifications and facilitate mutual recognition of qualifications amongst BRICS member states to ensure mobility of skills professionals, academics, and students, and recognitions of qualifications obtained in each other's countries, subject to compliance of applicable domestic laws. BRICS member states agreed that education is linked to the changing world and is measured by its contribution to the socio-economic development of its citizenry. For this reason, all countries further concur that education should reflect the economy of its nation and seek to resolve the economic challenges. The meeting supported the need to facilitate exchanges of ideas and experiences within BRICS on equipping learners with skills fit for the future through multiple learning pathways, such as this three-streamed model in South Africa. All BRICS member states agreed on the importance of early childhood development, as this forms countries' future adulthood and behaviors central to their cognitive development. China, for example, has achieved a number of its early childhood development environment and universal access education goals. Over and above quantity, China also places a premium on the quality of teaching and learning of early childhood development. Russia has also invested in schemes such as digital libraries to improve the quality of teaching and learning at early childhood development level, and these programs are meant to arouse interest to children in high-end disciplines such as mathematics and astronomy. Member states shared best practices amongst each other on expanding access to holistic early childhood development to provide a better start in life for all children within BRICS countries. The senior officials of BRICS countries in their meeting further received reports from the BRICS Network Universities and BRICS TVET Cooperative Alliance. The BRICS Network University reported that a declaration was formulated and adopted by all member states, details of which are contained in the report of the network. Whilst engagement of the BRICS TVET Cooperation Alliance is still underway, the trajectory indicates that there is general agreement on the priorities. There is an undertaking that at the end of the forum, a declaration reflecting the agreements reached and the commitments made during the sitting will be adopted. In conclusion, I would like to thank all senior officials of BRICS member states and invited guests, Namibia, for inputs and their willingness to consider all inputs submitted with open minds and constructive engagements. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DG, for that succinct summary of the issues and the areas that we are canvassing here. With that, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, according to our program, and I'm glad to see that we are still on time, we are just over by 1 minute. We have a tea and coffee break for 15 minutes, which means if we can be back here by 10:17, 10:17. You are all invited to tea and coffee. Thank you very much. what I call the substantive session, which is a ministerial discussion and reflections on the 8 thematic areas and proposal for new areas of cooperation. We have now also been greatly assisted by the input made by the head of the BRICS officials of education who were preparing for this. And the way we are going to run this, then I'm going to be making my own remarks from the chair. My own remarks, no, not Dr. Chen, from the chair. Sorry. And thereafter, I will then hand over to my colleague, Deputy Minister Mhaule, who will make her own engagement, and thereafter she will take over the chairing. She will facilitate. She will continue being the facilitator. I'll be here, although I will go out at 11 briefly for some media interviews, because there seems to be some big media interest in our activity. Once more, honorable ministers and deputy ministers, our special guest, the minister from Namibia, ladies and gentlemen, it's again my singular honor to make my inputs into the thematic areas that were discussed by BRICS education senior officials by way of contributing to facilitating the discussions here. Firstly, let me extend my profound gratitude to the education experts as well from BRICS member states for their valuable inputs and support for the identified thematic areas. The issue of navigating climate change through responsive and relevant education and skills development has been identified in the context of BRICS countries that are grappling with the challenge of effectively mitigating and adapting to climate change, while simultaneously navigating a just transition that ensures inclusive and globally competitive low carbon and climate resilient economies. South Africa believes that responsive and relevant education and skills development are essential for effectively navigating climate change and promoting sustainable development. By collaborating with each other amongst the BRICS Alliance, we believe we can leverage each other's strengths and expertise to develop a skilled workforce capable of driving the transition to a greener economy. Through skills transfer in renewable energy industries, TVET programs for the green hydrogen economy, reskilling initiatives in the coal mining sector, climate finance training, technical exchanges in e-vehicles and solar panels manufacturing, green minerals partnerships, and leveraging benefits of smart agriculture and innovation. I believe that collectively, we can address climate challenges and foster sustainability, transitions, and economic well-being within the BRICS countries. The area regarding the topic of rethinking and reimagining global rankings for universities. The ranking of a university has increasingly become a marker of how international ranking agencies frame the presumed reputation and prestige of universities, and is used as a market-like mechanism for attracting student, staff, investment, and individual institutions. It's, however, important that we should ask fundamental questions about its normative and strategic utility as a principle of driving the core mandates of higher education in the developing world. Firstly, there is the danger of competitive values trumping over cooperation, collaboration, and solidarity, which had long been the foundational principles of public higher education. Secondly, global ranking systems have tended to impose trends towards the homogenization of higher education, often pivoting around Western-based norms of what constitutes the best models of a university. Thirdly, obsession with rankings impose huge costs on and distractions from the core mandates of universities, particularly in the developing world, where problems of socio-economic reconstruction and development in local, regional, and national contexts are more paramount. Should our universities not be focused on framing their prestige and achievements around developmental goals, such as that of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs? Does it not make sense that BRICS should frame norms that foregrounds goals of equity, social justice, local and regional relevance, fostering inclusive societies, and cooperation and solidarity as core values? Briefly on fostering entrepreneurship in education and training systems, there are various student-focused entrepreneurship development programs that are being implemented in our TVET colleges in South Africa. I must also say that our universities in South Africa have embarked on a very exciting collaborative education program on entrepreneurship in order to be able to firstly bridge between the world of education and the world of work, but also at the same time to ensure that we produce students who are not only just graduates, who are not just expected to be employed, but who they themselves can be able to create job opportunities through their own initiatives. So our relationship as BRICS brings with it another opportunity to gain access to markets for entrepreneurial products and services. Also, South Africa, like many other countries the world over, we face a common and prevalent issue of out-of-school youth. There is universal agreement that how and what the youth learn during their teenage years determines their ability to learn further, enter the labor market, and participate in society. Education programs, whether formal or non-formal, should enable youth to build on learning gains from primary education, prepare them for post-school education and training, or facilitate their transition into the workplace. We believe that delivering responsive and relevant programs for out-of-school youth using labor market intelligence is also essential to address the challenges they face in accessing education. BRICS, therefore, provides a platform that creates opportunities for synergy on collaboration and agreements addressing global skills gaps and leading to formulation of common approaches. We can indeed also as countries share how to deliver responsive and relevant programs for out-of-school youth and embrace a wide set of options to appropriately identify relevant interventions. In line also with the Global Education 2030 agenda, South Africa, as I've said last night, aims to improve the quality of and enhance international cooperation in the post-school education and training. We already have enabling legislation and policy environment with the National Qualifications Framework, and we also have the South African Qualifications Authority and robust and ethical quality assurance systems. We believe this for us gives us a platform to engage with our BRICS partners on the important issue of recognition of mutual recognition of qualifications. South Africa supports that BRICS countries process the ratification of the Global Convention on the recognition of qualifications concerning higher education and share information, experience, and expertise between countries on qualifications frameworks, quality assurance, and country mechanisms to recognize foreign qualifications. We also need to forge closer links between our professional qualifications, associations, and authorities to be able to share knowledge. I will leave the issue of the thematic area around primary and secondary schooling to my colleague, Deputy Minister Mahaule, and also the issues of early childhood development. I will leave those apart from the other things that you will be talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, what I have therefore just articulated through this short input reflects various areas of South Africa's post-school and various education and training system. We sought to align and enhance the envisaged education and training outcomes for our nation and for the BRICS collaboration. Our officials have done a lot of work in working towards the declaration, and I hope that we will be able to have a smooth process of adopting the declaration through consensus in order to use this BRICS Education Ministers Summit to take forward our education and training goals. Thank you very much. And then with that, I will call upon my colleague to give her remarks, and after which maybe Minister, our guest.
Thank you very much, Dr. Blade Nziman. I wanted to reserve for our guest because her flight, but I can't give the remarks thereafter, then I will allow our guest to come in. As you correctly put it, and as I indicated in my earlier remarks, that the early childhood development has been transferred to the Department of Basic Education. In the past, it was in the Department of Social Development, but education was still responsible for the curriculum and the training of the young, the teachers. But now the entire function has been shifted to the Department of Basic Education. It's a year old now, and we are still designing the South African model, which we visit other countries to check as to how do they handle their own early childhood development. And we believe that in the BRICS countries, we can share those best practices when coming to early childhood development. We're also looking at navigating the climate change through response and relevant education and skills development in South Africa. So our government has carved its role as of ensuring that formal education should address the impact of adaptation of climate change and the mitigation of greenhouse emission through the school curriculum. Within the inception of the National Curriculum Statement, South Africa has ensured that climate change is integrated within various subjects from grade R to grade 12. In the further education and training band, for instance, subjects such as geography, life sciences, agricultural sciences, physical sciences, tourism, and life orientation have incorporated aspects of climate change and global warming. Chair, we also look at the fostering entrepreneurship in education and training system against the backdrop of diminishing level of employment. That when we teach them, they must have the entrepreneurship skills whilst they are still in school. The 21st century comes with many surprises. Technology and communication are some of the most advanced developments in the century. To cope with this advancement, mastering entrepreneurial skills has become a necessity. An entrepreneurial mindset is at 21st century skills is early interventions of entrepreneurship skills, and it enables learners to turn ideas into actions. And inclusive creativity, innovation, and risk-taking, as well as the ability to manage and lead projects to achieve the objectives. It creates new knowledge, leadership skills, and reading, writing, and mathematics. We also look at the skills for the changing world. South Africa has introduced 19 new subjects to the curriculum to expose teachers and learners to a range of skills and competencies which will equip them for the 21st century, with an emphasis on innovation and lifelong learning. Teachers and learners will be able to respond to emerging technologies, including the Internet of Things, robotics, and artificial intelligence, with the introduction of a coding and robotics curricula from grade R to grade 9. In line with this framework, a framework for the training of teachers on robotics and coding was developed to implement the delivery of the teacher union collaboration. Collaboration. We work with teacher unions. So we have 5 of them in the country that are recognized in the bargaining council. So, Minister, we also look at the delivering responsive and relevant programs for out-of-school youth. As I indicated earlier on in my initial input, that we have learners that have not completed grade 12 and they cannot be absorbed in the work of place. That's why as a department we are implementing the second chance matric program, where we help those young people who have not acquired their matric. And even those that dropped some years back, we still allow them to come to the system if they are not incorporated into training and skills development. There's also the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative that addresses this huge unemployment by young people in South Africa. So they've given us a sector, as a sector, education, the Basic Education Employment Initiative. It forms an integral component of the Presidential Youth Stimulus, which was introduced in 2000 during COVID-19. This initiative was established in response to the devastating economic impact of the COVID-19. South Africa used the opportunity presented by this to contribute towards job creation, strengthening livelihoods, and supporting meaningful work by placing young people in public schools across the country. Another thing that we're looking at as basic education is the utilizing labor market intelligence for response and relevant education and skills development. South Africa is developing an aviation studies curriculum that is part of the 3-stream model. The 3-stream model is to allow learners and students to have choices. Those who don't want to take the academic route must go to the vocational or technical. So we have established that, and we're also looking forward to collaborating with the Big Five, if I may say, the Big Five, that let's utilize and share best practices when coming to the 3-stream model and also the 4th industrial revolution. And it will help all of us to grow simultaneously. Chair, I don't want to waste time. I think I need to allow our invited guest, Dr. Ita Ganji Murangi, Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation from the Republic of Namibia, to give her inputs. Over to you, Dr.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Minister in the Republic of South Africa for Basic Education. Honorable Dr. Blazin Zimande, Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation of the Republic of South Africa. Honorable Deputy Minister of Science and Higher Education, Russian Federation. Honorable Minister of State for Education and External Affairs, Republic of India. Honorable Vice Minister of Education, People's Republic of China. Honorable Vice Minister of Education and Secretary of State for Higher Education, Federative Republic of Brazil. Honorable Deputy Ministers present, representatives of the various BRICS countries, senior government officials, leaders of universities, leaders of research institutions, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure for me to be here as an invited guest to this important conference, and I bring greetings from the beautiful country of Namibia. As the world is currently contemplating the rapid changes that are brought on by climate change, artificial intelligence, food, energy, and water, so higher education, or rather, let me say, so too the future of learning is changing. Our countries must ensure that education today provides the skilled workforce of tomorrow. Such conferences as this BRICS conference serves as a collective of knowledge and collaboration, bringing together important players in the education sector from the BRICS countries to discuss and shape the future of education. The power of collaboration and partnership in education cannot be underestimated. And we believe that this conference will serve as a catalyst for transformative change in the respective countries and beyond. The deliberations on the 8 thematic areas confronting education affects Namibia as well. And we can learn so much from the exchange of knowledge and expertise at this conference. Our country has many commonalities with South Africa, which is such an important player on our continent. It is therefore apt that some of the solutions might also be applicable to Namibia. I must emphasize the fact that an area like climate change is something that we feel the effects of right away as a country. We face floods, we face droughts, and indeed gatherings such as this allow for us to learn from others who may have or experience similar challenges. In addition, Namibia has already many successful and important collaborations in education with almost all the BRICS countries. We are particularly keen to explore mutual interest in the areas of TVET, entrepreneurship, and out-of-school youth, as well as digital transformation of education and collaboration with the BRIC University Network. As an invited guest, we are eager to immerse ourselves in the exchange of ideas, best practices, and innovative approaches that are contained in the declaration on the thematic areas that will be considered for adoption later today. And I must actually, as I conclude, inform the gathering that I wish I could be part of this important gathering and take part in the deliberations, but because of some unforeseen emergencies back home, I will have to leave immediately after saying I thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister. We fully understand that you were committed to be here as you arrived last night, and we fully agree with you, and we gladly, on behalf of the BRICS ministers, I take this opportunity to allow you to take leave. Thank you so much. So, yeah, I request Dr. Blaine Zimande to walk the minister out. And if time allows you, take your interviews outside there. So we continue with the discussions. I will allow the Federative Republic of Brazil to start. Over to you, Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much. It's a very important theme for the discussion of today. Nature destruction has surely an economic impact, we all know. And a great change in Earth, as we know it nowadays, will be deleterious for future generations, and they do not deserve it. It causes not only economic impact directly, but also it induces the emerging and re-emerging disease that disappeared from several countries some years ago, like Zika virus and other viruses that have disappeared and they came over again, causing diseases in several countries. It also leads to natural disasters. And in fact, if we continue with climate change in the velocity, the high velocity that we all know that it is going on, we will surely lead to the extinction of human beings. Human beings are Homo sapiens sapiens, but if they do not face climate changes, I should say that we are less sapiens than said before, because we all know that it will cause our extinction due to natural disasters, due to the emerging or re-emerging diseases, and so on. So we will be the only species in the Earth to produce its own extinction. This is the first important thing that I would like to reinforce here. In Brazil, we have several programs that study climate change and also natural disasters in our agencies that give money, that subsidize the research against climate change, natural disasters, and I'm not going to tell all of them, but what I want to reinforce today is the programs not only related to research and development to face climate changes, but the educational programs. And in our education institutions, from high school to universities, we have energy transition programs like the one I point out here today, which is called ENER-IF, which is called Ener from energy and IF from the Institution of Federal Education. It encourages the expansion of infrastructure for laboratories and the acquisition of plants for the generation of renewable energy, seeking greater efficiency in the use of energy and sources in these institutions. It boosts technological professional training in renewable energies and energy efficiency to expand the generation of jobs, preferably with local labor. It encourages research, development, innovation, and entrepreneurship in renewable energy and energy efficiency, with the aim of reducing pressure on natural resources and expanding technological development. Stimulates, evaluates, and disseminates the implementation of energy management and energy efficiency initiatives to ensure greater efficiency in public spending and the use of natural resource. And it promotes national and international partnership, encouraging the involvement of employees of federal education institutions and disseminate information on initiatives in renewable energy and energy efficiency. But apart from the Minister of Education, our Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation has also several calls for research in these important areas. But I will conclude saying that education plays an important, I should say, a fundamental role, and our institutions, mainly from high school, but I should say from basic school also. But nowadays, we started from high school to universities that should perform, apart from teaching and performing research, these institutions have to add a third mission. So apart from teaching and performing research, we have to contribute more to society and its demands. What means our social contribution is very important. So educating future generation, training teachers, and this generation is very important to face climate change, to try to mitigate it. And I finish my talk, this first talk, saying that climate literacy is urgent. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Minister. Now we are going to take this opportunity and invite the Russian Federation Deputy Minister of Science and Higher Education. Over to you.
Большое спасибо. Уважаемые коллеги, развитие образования – это один из стратегических национальных приоритетов России. Целью государственной образовательной политики является повышение доступности качественного образования, отвечающего требованиям инновационного развития экономики и потребностям общества.
To increase the availability of quality education that meets the requirements of innovative economic development and the needs of society. We have achieved a lot today. Russia ranks 10th in the world in terms of the quality of general education, 6th in terms of the amount of higher education, and 9th in terms of the scope of scientific research and development. These indicators come as a result of comprehensive efforts at all levels. We do not plan to stop at what we have achieved. The focus of our further efforts will be on developing educational infrastructure, improving the quality and accessibility of services in the social sphere, creating an integrated system for training human resources, and facilitating the use of science and technology in the interests of Russia's socio-economic development. At the beginning, our education has 32 million children and youth, including 17 million preschoolers. At the same time, the rate of accessibility of preschool education is from 98 to 100% for preschoolers, for children from 2 months to 7 years of age. Since the 1st of September of this year, every daycare center, the content and quality of education may not be below as prescribed by the federal curriculum. Multilateral development and emotional well-being of young children provides a solid foundation for further success in terms of school education. Nowadays, we have more than 17 million learners in our schools. With that, the rate of out-of-school youth reaches 6,000, which is less than 0.5% total number of students. In this regard, Russia is among the countries workers and positions of employees includes several hundred titles. This approach meets the existing demand for professional-related to real sector and the development of the national economy. It is a keynote running through the most important projects at all levels of vocational education, including higher education. Particular importance in the system of higher education is attached to the development of entrepreneurial competencies. This year, the government of the Russian Federation approved the concept of technological development until 2030. One of the key tasks of the concept is to create conditions for high-intensity innovative activity of entrepreneurs who will work in a comfortable environment. Statistics show that currently more than 40% of Russian students would like to start their own business in the coming years after graduation. To support such enterprising young people, the ministry has launched the federal project University Technological Entrepreneurship Platform in 2022. The project aims to develop the entrepreneurial potential of young people and create a sustainable ecosystem for launching startups on the basis of educational institutions. It covers basically the whole territory of Russia, which includes 266 Russian universities. There are now 60 so-called entrepreneurial boiling points, which are unique spaces for project realization. There is also a grant program, Student Startups. Last year, winners were awarded grants of up to $10,000 to develop their startup. As many as 1,500 students will benefit this year. Selection for the program invites students from BRICS countries to take advantage of this unique offer and join the program as part of their studies at Russian universities. Meanwhile, decarbonization of a wide range of industries is increasingly coming to the forefront of international debate in parallel with the growth of the global production. In this context, the pilot project has launched by the Russian Ministry of Science and Higher Education to establish carbon polygons is of a particular importance. The carbon polygons are 17 areas with a unique ecosystem designed to control climate-active gases, which involve universities and scientific organizations. I am pleased to know that the expert council of this project also involved foreign specialists, 13 experts this year, including those from BRICS members countries, 5 from India and 4 from China. We invite other partners to join our efforts to preserve and improve our environment. Each carbon polygon is developing educational programs in various areas. There is no doubt that interdisciplinary professions of ecologists, agricultural workers, climatologists, lawyers, finance and IT specialists will become especially in demand in the labor market within the horizon of 10 to 15 years. Educational programs in the field of low carbon transition may become one of the new popular areas of training within the BRICS Network University as well. We are confident their experience and practical achievements will be in demand on the BRICS partner universities for the implementation of unique network educational programs on environmental issues. Moreover, we look forward to expanding the number of universities participating in the BRICS Network University and increasing the number of training fields. Our partners share this vision, which will be echoed in today's Minister Declaration. At the same time, I would like to draw the attention of the distinguished colleagues to the need for additional support for the network university's activities, including state level. We have certainly managed to achieve a lot during the 8 years of project existence. Participating universities have been selected, priority areas of training have been identified, the partner universities have agreed on the curriculum of joint educational programs. However, the number of graduates of the network university is less than modest, only 11. I believe that these figures do not adequately reflect the level of our educational cooperation within the BRICS framework. I suggest that we consider new opportunities to provide funding for member universities, including by using the resources of the BRICS New Development Bank. I also think it would be advisable each country to consider allocating additional budgetary slots with the BRICS Network University in order to expand academic mobility in the network. There is no doubt the educational organization of the BRICS countries, both in and outside the network university, play a special role in the global educational community. Nevertheless, to date, there is no international rating for an unbiased assessment of their achievements and performance. Moreover, in the current international situation, Russian universities faced undue restrictions imposed on their participation in the existing international rankings. It is our strong belief that no one is immune from such insinuations by Western countries. These circumstances dictate the urgent need to develop a rating mechanism at the BRICS level. Such a project would boost the development of higher education institutions in equal conditions of fair competition, as well as promote a scientific system for assessing the quality of higher education, cleared of a number of controversial components, such as, for example, the indicator of the number of publications in international scientific journals headquartered in Western countries, which hinder the progress of scientific thought in the current geopolitical situation. We are applying a flexible approach with the adoption of Russia's educational traditions. We also continue operating in international educational agreements Russia is also part of, which provides the base of acknowledgement Russian education abroad. It is necessary to meet the interests of foreign studying in Russia. Currently, Russia participates in more than 70 international agreements in the sphere of education, including BRICS countries such as India, China, and South Africa. Not all of them are remaining effective considering the changes that happened recently. However, we're working hard to make them relevant and efficient. In terms of the BRICS Network University, there is a need for creating a normative document. For me, dear partners, I suggest to think about it in more detailed terms. Another mechanism of growing academic mobility in the framework of our union may be the founding of the International Olympiad of BRICS countries. Will open new opportunities for the talented youth, will stimulate creative activity and research activity of the students. The winners of the Olympiad, shall we make this decision, will be able to study free of charge in any university of the BRICS countries. On our behalf, we are prepared to open this opportunity in the framework of Maastricht. Further, we would be prepared to make it available on the level of bachelor's diploma and high school graduates. We are confident in the success and the high demand for this initiative on the basis of BRICS community. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. Now we take this opportunity and allow the Republic of India, represented by the Minister of State for Education and External Affairs, Dr. Singh, over to you.
Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, colleagues, and friends, I would like to thank South Africans here for facilitating the deliberation on an eclectic set of themes in this forum. The first theme, navigating climate change through responsive and relevant education and skill development, resonates with our vision to work towards a sustainable economy which has the potential to boost job and skill, spur innovation, and foster competitiveness. The National Education Policy 2020 shares some cutting-edge strategies for enabling environmental awareness, sensitivity towards conservation and sustainable development through education and skill development. Through the National Skill Qualification Framework, which is a competency-based framework for organizing qualifications according to level of knowledge, skill, and aptitude, India has created 53 qualification packs in the green skill sector, and 10 more are currently under development. Particularly relevant to this theme is the basic yet profound philosophy of mission life, that is, lifestyle for environment, which promotes sustainability as a way of life and inspire many of our initiatives. Going forward, we believe this will empower students to explore environmental concepts and action beyond the confines of a syllabus or curriculum by sparking curiosity, thus ingraining the importance of learning to live sustainably for lifetime. To take forth and contribute towards the initiative related to green education and skill development, we will be happy to share our learnings from ancient or recent initiatives towards gearing up the Indian workforce for a sustainable economy and contribute towards an initiative in these directions. Given the shortcomings in the prevalent global ranking system, as aptly highlighted in the concept paper, rethinking and reimagining of such systems becomes imperative. Ranking play a crucial role in galvanizing institutions to strive for constant improvement. They also serve as a tool for introspection by identifying gaps and nudging institutions to expeditiously work towards strengthening core areas of functioning. India has consciously moved in this direction and intensified efforts toward developing an indigenous framework attuned to our development priorities. India's National Institute ranking framework largely consists of parameters that, besides being aligned to parameters used by global ranking, provide for weights to be customized to factor in our priority and local context. Social parameters such as regional diversity, gender equity, inclusion of disadvantaged group of the society, etc., have been included in NIRF to reorient assessment of performance towards our national aspirations. While India fully understands and appreciates the need for critically analyzing existing ranking and improving them, we would like to reiterate that any new ranking framework should be sensitive to social aspirations and priorities and customized as far as possible to reflect local sensitivities. To this end, we are open to sharing our experience with BRICS member states. In today's rapidly evolving global economy, traditional employment opportunities are diminishing, making it necessary to explore alternative pathways for economic growth and job creations. We welcome deliberation on fostering entrepreneurship in education and training system against the backdrop of diminishing level of employment. India has adopted a multi-pronged strategy for fostering entrepreneurship, which on one hand infuses curiosity, innovation, entrepreneurial spirit, and the ability to take risks right from childhood, and on the other hand, create a conducive ecosystem for providing holistic support, hand-holding, and mentorship to startups throughout their life cycle, covering various stages such as ideations, proof of concept, incubation, development of prototypes, commercializations, and scaling up. India's Atul innovative missions strives to create a facilitating environment for transforming ideas into creative solutions and envision producing a million young innovators. AIMS takes a holistic approach to ensure the creation of a problem-solving innovative mindset in school and ecosystem of entrepreneurship in universities, research institutions, and the private and MSME sectors. We are happy to share further information on our country's initiative, experiences, and lessons learned on what works well for this team. We also look forward to the redrafting and finalizations of the themes of reference and work plan for the BRICS debates, cooperation, alliances, which was launched last year. Delivering responsive and relevant programs of out-of-school youths is yet another relevant theme for this forum. In order to encourage youths to continue their education through the school and higher education system, NEP 2020 aims to provide exposure to vocational education to at least 50% of learners by 2025. Consequently, the goal of vocational education under India's Samagraha Shiksha have been identified as integration of vocational education with general academic education in all secondary, senior secondary schools by providing of funds for labs, vocational trainers, industry partnership, on-job training and internship, enhancing the employability and entrepreneurial abilities of the students and providing exposure to work environment and generating awareness among students about various career options so as to enable them to make a choice in accordance with their aptitude, competence, and aspirations. We see that the CR has yet again proposed to adopt a program on out-of-school youths in conjunction with the BRICS TCA as an area of future collaboration. It has also proposed a program on sharing of good practices in teachers' capacitation towards attainment of skill for the future. While we appreciate the intentions behind these proposals, any discussion to move ahead should depend on the granular details proposed. Excellency, distinguished delegate, colleagues, and friends. The fifth theme, utilizing labor market intelligence for responsive and relevant education and skill development, is a crucial theme for a forward-looking policy response to the rapidly changing nature of education and skill development in our economies. The Government of India has launched several initiatives for furthering progressive practice of making skilling opportunity accessible vis-à-vis its skills. India Digital Portal, maintaining database of unorganized workers through e-Shram portal, and amplifying effort to utilize comparable indicators and harmonize skill and qualifications framework to address the gap and devise lifelong learning strategies. By aligning education and skill training with the needs of the labor market, our country can enhance economic productivity, reduce unemployment, and drive sustainable development. We observe that this year has proposed establishing a forum on labor market intelligence as a future area of cooperation. Establishing any forum under BRICS marks a commitment which ought to be backed by detailed deliberations, extensive diligence as to the objective, and the forum will assume as also the manner in which proceedings will be held. Nevertheless, we do recognize the interlinkage between labor market intelligence and requisite skill mapping and training. Building synergy between education, skilling, labor and employment streams would be very useful. We welcome the selection of mutual recognition of qualification between the BRICS member states as a thematic area by this year. It is a vital component of India's policy for internationalization of education. We expect mutual recognition of qualification to culminate in higher mobility of students, increased exposure to cross-cultural contexts, enhance employability, and collaborative research and innovation activities across boundary. The launch of National Credit Framework underscore our endeavors towards infusing flexibility in choice of qualification and rendering equivalence between academic and vocational domains in India. NCRF is an inclusive umbrella framework to recount credits earned through school education, higher education, and vocational and skill education. It streamlines the credit framework by ensuring seamless mobility across domain and open up multiple pathways for future progression of students so as not limit their potentialities. Going forward, we expect the move towards NCRF to be a catalyst in enabling mutual recognitions of qualification which similarly align countries including BRICS member states. As reflected during India's G20 presidency, we underscore the importance of the next thematic priority, skill for changing world, perspective for primary and secondary school. The futuristic and far-sighted national education policy introduced by India in 2020s, lies at the heart of our effort towards strengthening institutional capacity to imbibe lifelong learning in the education and skill system. It calls for interconnectedness of initiative across formal, non-formal, and informal modes to make learning system more holistic, multidisciplinary, and comprehensive to address diverse learning needs. In all, under the visionary leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, India has made massive strides in strengthening collaboration with diverse stakeholders, including industries, academia, government agency, and civil society, to articulate a vision for an agile policy response and advance the adoption of the lifelong learning intervention. The Indian government places a high priority on promoting holistic early childhood development and strategies for investing in the early years. We continue to actively address disparities in education, access, and opportunity through measures and programs in place for supporting students who are behind. Our National Education Policy 2020 suggested that universalization of preschool education should happen by 2030. This led to creating the national mission Nipun Bharat, that stands for National Initiative and Proficiency in Reading with Understanding and Numeracy, that was launched in 2021 to ensure that our children read with comprehension, write with purpose, and understanding numeracy to solve basic day-to-day life situations. The mission guidelines lay down priorities and actionable agenda for states and union territories to achieve the goal of proficiency in foundational literacy and numeracy for every child by the end of this grade 3. With this, India would once again like to commend the South African chair for enabling deliberations on a unique and pertinent set of themes for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister. Now we are going to call the People's Republic of China, Vice Minister of Education, Mr. Chen Jin. Over to you, Doctor.
尊敬的各位部长，非常感谢韩非提供这样的机会，使得我们金砖5国的教育部长
all the ministers of all the BRICS countries to come here and to have a deep communication and to share all the experience. So regarding the climate change topic, addressing climate change is an inherent requirement of global sustainable development and an international obligation of a reasonable major country. Chinese government has clearly announced that we will strive to peak carbon dioxide emissions by 2030 and strive to achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. The Ministry of Education of China has organically integrated climate change education into relevant subject courses and combined with subject characteristics to give special lectures on addressing climate change. We strive to cultivate students' awareness of respecting nature, respecting the environment, forming a community of life between man and nature, and the concept of green development guide students to understand the impact of climate change, human activities, and other natural or human factors on the stability of ecosystems. For example, in the general high school courses, the geography class requires students to analyze the impact of sea atmosphere interaction on the global water and heat balance, as well as the impact of global climate and human activities. The biology class guides students to pay attention to the threat to the stability of the atmosphere caused by global environmental issues such as the destruction of the ozone layers and environmental pollution. At the same time, strengthen the training and implementation guidance of curriculum programs and encourage teachers to improve the education and teaching methods on climate change education. In future, we will continue to improve the school's ability to implement ecological civilization education comprehensively, enhance students' awareness of climate change issues, and promote sustainable development. Regarding thinking and reimagine global rankings for universities, with the development of internationalization of the higher education, international exchanges and cooperation among universities have become more and more frequent, which has created university ranking activities around the world. At present, the existing university rankings are highly oriented and can be used as a supplement to the quality evaluation of universities, which has a certain positive effect, but at the same time, there are obvious problems such as emphasizing scientific research achievements over educational actions, emphasizing quantity over quality, ranking profit tendency, highlighting the performance of domestic universities of ranking institutions, and even indicates the inaccurate data, making it difficult to comprehensively and objectively evaluate the quality level of colleges and universities and reflect the actual development needs of the country and the characteristics and advantages of the university. We believe that the valuation of universities should be just and inclusive. It should emphasize the value orientation of universities in different regions of the world, respect and reflect characteristics of different countries, nations, and cultures, as well as the cultural characteristics of different types of universities, and pay attention to the tolerance of different development stages of the university, respect and recognize the results of different academic evaluation systems. We are willing to work with the countries to address strengths and weaknesses of the current global university evaluation, strengthen exchanges with the university quality evaluation institutions of the 5 countries, actively research and explore the connotation and indicators of university evaluation, and jointly promote the formation of a comprehensive and scientific university evaluation orientation that reflects the characteristics of the country in which it is located and contribute to the development of higher education. Here, I think maybe we shouldn't mention the university ranking, this kind of words. Maybe we should use university connotation, construction evaluation, or university evaluation. Maybe that's more scientific and more reasonable. Regarding the entrepreneurship, encouraging college students to start businesses and fostering entrepreneurship is the special significance to the coordinated development of the country's economy and society. It is conducive to promoting industrial economic adjustment, elevating employment pressure, and stimulating social innovation vitality. Our Chinese government attaches great importance to the entrepreneurship of college students, and the entrepreneurial rate of Chinese college graduates exceeds 3%. In order to encourage entrepreneurship, the Chinese government has adopted a series of measures. First, under the promotion of the Ministry of Education, Chinese universities have focused on building 100 national innovation and entrepreneurship academies and 100 national innovation and entrepreneurship education practice spaces, offering more than 30,000 specialized courses on innovation and entrepreneurship education to lead and drive the overall improvement of innovation and entrepreneurship education in colleges and universities. The second is to integrate education, human resources, industry and information technology, and local government resources to build a large-scale entrepreneurial platform. Since 2015, the 8th China International Internet Plus College Students Innovation and Entrepreneurship Competition has been successfully held to effectively improve innovation and entrepreneurship capabilities. The competition has attracted 39.83 million college students from more than 120 countries and regions around the world to participate. More than 113,000 college student companies have been incubated, and a total of 7.82 million jobs have been provided. The third is to guide social forces to support college students' entrepreneurship, give full play to the role of social capital, guide investment funds and social capital to participate in early investment in entrepreneurial projects, encourage social organizations, NGO, and individuals to set up college students' entrepreneurial venture funds, and support college students' innovative and entrepreneurial mechanisms in multiple ways. Regarding the delivering responsive and relevant programs for out-of-school youth, our Chinese government attaches great importance to popularizing compulsory education and controlling dropouts, ensuring equal access to compulsory education for school-age children and teenagers is a statutory requirement of the compulsory education law, and it is also an important connotation for China to a well-off society in an all-round way. Our government has taken multiple measures to promote the universalization of compulsory education in all regions by improving policies and measures, strengthening piercing screening, intensifying persuasion efforts, and ensuring the enrollment of special groups. At present, we have historically solved the long-standing dropout problem. Our government gives full play to the role of vocational colleges, provides a variety of talent and employment channels, and promotes the development of primary skills training. In 2022, secondary and higher vocational schools carried out various vocational skills training for more than 13 million person times. Regarding the labor market intelligence, the Ministry of Education of China timely and optimize the structure of the disciplines and measures according to the needs of the job market, promotes the integration of science and education, production and education, and provides strong talent support for promoting high-quality development. Firstly, we pay attention to the matching degree between professional construction and economic and social development. In the past 10 years, in order to expand employment adapted to the needs of economic development, colleges and universities have actively carried out the optimization and adjustment of professional structure, accumulatively adding 19,000 undergraduate majors and canceling or stopping enrollment of nearly 10,000 majors. The second is to update the course content in a timely manner. The Chinese Ministry of Education guides colleges and universities actively meets the needs of economic and social development, improve the curriculum system, update teaching content, improve methods and effectively improve the social adaptability and result satisfaction of college personnel training. The third is to continue to deepen the integration of production and education and school enterprise cooperation. Actively carried out order-based talent training in 2021. More than 15,000 professional sites in 1,185 higher vocational schools across the country carried out order-based training involving 330 majors regarding the mutual recognition of qualification within the BRICS. At present, China has signed agreement on mutual recognition of academic degrees 58 countries and regions, including Russia and South Africa among the BRICS countries. To a certain extent, the mutual recognition of academic degrees reflects the level of education opening up in various countries, demonstrates and the positive attitude of our government to encourage student exchange and provides great convenience and legal protections for the flow of students between countries. It is an important trend in the development and transformation of education internalization. The BRICS countries have close educational exchange and cooperation, and the flow of the students is frequent. The Ministry of Education of China supports the mutual recognition of academic degrees among BRICS countries to further facilitate the flow of the students and the scholarship from the 5 countries. Regarding skills for changing world, in the context of accelerated evolution of the scientific and technological revolution and industrial transformation since 2017, China's higher education has launched the construction of new engineering, new agriculture, and new liberal arts, aiming at the frontier of science and technology and key areas, and improving the existing professional systems. Adjustment and upgrading have achieved remarkable results in strengthening the training of the talents in short supply and promoting innovation and entrepreneurship education. In the field of vocational education, optimize professional skills around the needs of the industry development. More than 190 majors related to strategic emerging industries as new generation information technology, biotechnology, new energy, new materials, high-end equipment, new energy vehicles, marine equipment, green environmental protections, and aerospace have been newly established. At the same time, innovate the training methods of technical and skilled personnel, launch a special training program for field engineers in vocational education. Regarding the early childhood development, preschool education is an important stage, laying the foundation for lifelong learning and all-around development. Our Chinese government attaches great importance to preschool education and has introduced a series of policies and measures to promote the rapid development of preschool education and ensure that the majority of school children receive fair quality preschool education. The first is to strengthen the top-level design. The Chinese government issued corresponding policies and measures in 2018 to further clarify the basic direction of public welfare and inclusiveness of preschool education, and proposed that by 2020 the national preschool 3-year gross enrollment rate would reach 85% and the coverage rate of the inclusive kindergartens would reach 80%. The second is to implement major national preschool education projects. The central government has invested more than 220 billion RMB in total, focusing on supporting the implementation of a number of garden construction projects in various places and expanding inclusive preschool education resources through multiple channels. The third is to improve preschool education laws and regulations, improve kindergarten operating standards, and strengthen business guidance. The fourth is to comprehensively improve the quality of child care education, kindergarten teachers to self-diagnose and self-improvement, and continuously improve the practical ability and professional quality of child care and education. As of 2022, there will be a total of 289 kindergartens across the country with 46.28 million children in kindergartens. The national preschool 3-year gross admission rate is 89.7%, and the national inclusive kindergarten coverage rate is 87.8%. Dear ministers, in addition to the above 8 topics, I also want to talk about China's ideas and proposals on further promoting digital education cooperation among BRICS countries. The deepening of the new round of scientific and technology revolution and industrial transformation, especially since the outbreak of the COVID pandemic, the digital transformation of education is an inevitable choice to achieve balanced high-quality development of education and build a high-quality education system. It is one of the 5 major topics of the United Nations Educational Change Summit. As a member of the BRICS, we should carefully examine the possible revolutionary changes in the field of education, study the institutional mechanism for the organic integration of digital education and traditional education, and take the lead in driving the transformation and application of emerging technologies in the field of education. Our Chinese government actively promotes the transformation of education digitalization, deeply implements the national education digitalization strategy, integrates resources to build a national smart education platform, organizes the World Digital Education Conference, and establishes the World Digital Education Alliance to lead the modernization of education with education digitalization. China is willing to work with the BRICS countries to deepen exchange and cooperation in digital education under the framework of equality, mutual learning, communication, and tolerance, so that every learner in BRICS countries can benefit from digital education results, and jointly build an open, inclusive, and resilient education system. The first is to strengthen digital education policy dialogue, adhere to win-win symbiosis, jointly explore effective policies, bridge the digital divide in education, and promote education equality, equity, and quality improvement. The second is to explore new models of personnel training, education governance, persist adapting to change, to jointly build a digital education resource service system, cooperate in curriculum development, education and teaching application innovation, and jointly promote digital education in BRICS countries to adapt to the needs of education reform. The third is to establish a long-term mechanism for digital education exchange and cooperation among BRICS countries, explore the establishment of the BRICS Digital Education Alliance, build a BRICS smart education platform, and jointly promote the development of digital education in the 5 countries by conducting joint research, holding academic seminars, and sharing high-quality resources. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. Now thank you, Minister, for coming back from the media. We move to the gist of the matter, the presentation and adoption of the declaration of the 10th meeting of BRICS Ministers of Education. So we are going to allow the DG from Higher Education, I know they are going to run it through, but the DG will lead us in this item. Over to you, DG, Dr. Sish. It's going to be on the screen also, but I don't know in which language on the screen.
Yes, there it is. Thank you very much, Program Director and Chair. May I take this opportunity on behalf of my colleagues, the senior officials of the BRICS meeting held on the 12th of July, 2023. From Brazil, Mr. Thomas Alexandra Meyer Napolier, a special advisor for international affairs of the Ministry of Education, Ms. Olga Molovseva from the Russian Federation and the head of division in the Department of International Cooperation, in the Ministry of Science and Higher Education of the Russian Federation, and Mr. Rahul Pachori, the Deputy Secretary of the Ministry of Education in the Republic of India. In China, Mr. Feng Yun, the Deputy Director General of the Department of the International Cooperation and Exchanges in the Ministry of Education for the People's Republic of China. May I also thank Mr. Matanzima Hubert Mweli, the Director General for the Department of Basic Education representing South Africa, for their contribution in the finalization of the proposed declaration of the 10th meeting of BRICS Ministers of Education held here at Skukuza. In terms of this declaration, we acknowledge the impact of COVID-19 in the new forms of learning through digital technologies. We welcome the establishment of the significance of the BRICS TVET Cooperation Alliance. We reaffirm the importance of work of the BRICS network of universities, appreciate the exchange of information and strategies for mitigation and adapting to climate change, reimagining and rethinking of university global rankings, fostering entrepreneurship development in education. We also, as senior officials of BRICS, propose the facilitation of the mutual recognition of qualifications within the BRICS member states and ensure the coordination and deeper cooperation amongst member states. And in this regard, declare and reaffirm the resolutions taken in the declaration as flighted on the screen, and I'm not going to go through, Program Director, on all of them, but we respectfully submit as senior officials for adoption by our Minister the Skukuza Declaration. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. I will take the order. We start with Brazil. After we think this has been read, are we agreeing to this declaration?
Thank you very much. And I would say that Brazil agrees with all the themes and all the terms of the declaration. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In Russia.
Российская Федерация согласна с текстом декларации и благодарит Южноафриканское председательство за решающий вклад в ее подготовку.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, India.
Thank you for this the proposed declaration, but we have certain kind of the interventions in point number 10, digital education corporations. We are directly aligned to the need of collaborating on digital education. Nevertheless, we cannot commit to the shape such collaborations will take. Whether it will be an aligned or joint platform, without further deliberations, we request this year to retain the formulation proposed by us.
Thank you. You agree except on one. China.
感谢南非给我政府提供的这个合作的这个机会啊。我觉得这个10点宣言
South Africa.
非常全面。
We think the Mpumalanga Declaration covers everything. Covers overcome all the challenges. We think that this declaration is helping us facing the challenge that currently that we're encountering and also the future challenges. So we think digital education is really important. I support this suggestion. Thank you.
Digital education is there, they fully support. South Africa.
We thank you very much, Deputy Minister and colleagues. And also let's thank the officials who did all the groundwork on this declaration. We support the declaration as South Africa, this Kukuza declaration. However, I would also like to perhaps say that it would be important that the officials maybe may want to go back to look at what India is saying and see if a common formulation can be found so that we are able to adopt the declaration, all of us.
Thank you, South Africa. Our proposal is like this. Explore collaborative opportunities in the area of digital education. Hold dialogue on digital education policy, share digital education resources and best practices, and work together to promote digital transformation of education in BRICS country. This is our the idea.
DG, let me give this opportunity to you to clarify to us.
Honorable Chairperson, we have discussed the declaration in the spirit of cooperation and collaboration. And any input is welcome to enhance the agreement. I don't believe that it is difficult by the end of today to reach a consensus on how to accommodate all parties. In our mind as South Africa, we feel that both the contributions by China and India are helping us to enhance digital education in BRICS countries. Thank you.
Is there any difficulty in bringing this together? Because India is talking about digital, Minister?
Yes, I'm made to understand by the officials that China already accepts what India is suggesting. I understand China has no problem with the amendments that India, I don't know if Russia has a problem with the amendments, because it's basically to take out the word alliance and platform in the declaration. Yes.
Thank you, Person. Thank you for the further explanation. As I said, today we have the agreement that we're facing the current challenge and future challenge. So this part, the suggestion is really important regarding the future challenge. This shows that we have a further set of challenge from the 5 countries. That's why we think the alliance and platform is actually really important, because with the alliance and platform that we will be able to have a forum to promote this topic, this cooperation. If we don't have a specific alliance and platform, maybe we won't be able to promote this cooperation. So that's why we think it is quite necessary to form alliance and platform. It's just like when we designed this Minister of Education Department Dialogue and Conversation a decade ago. It's actually the same thing, and we believe with this alliance and platform will help us to promote digital education cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you. India, do you have anything before we take it back to the officials? Because to me, the difference is just so thin.
Thank you. We align with the idea of digital education cooperation, but alliance/platform may only be formed only after detailed discussion on the discussion on the granular details.
Okay, DG.
Thank you. Thank you very much, honorable ministers. On the basis of in our understanding, granular details is the key phrase in the discussion, and I think that means that work post the adoption of the agreement must happen to provide the details. That would include workshops, that would include exchange programs and all other cooperative initiatives to enhance the understanding of digital cooperation amongst BRICS countries. And therefore, we support both the inputs of China and the inputs of India in this regard, and trust that Russia and Brazil are also happy that we proceed with the adoption with an understanding that granular details will be provided later.
Is that agreed to India?
I humbly propose to adopt what we have proposed. Is there any difficulty to accept this?
Thank you so much, Minister.
Yeah. I'm wondering whether this is something that could really lead us not to have a commonly agreed declaration. If some of us want an alliance and a platform, it's fine. But if we were to take India's proposals to say, instead of alliance, we say cooperation, instead of saying platform, we say cooperation, then as we work post this meeting, we can then work towards convincing each other about the importance of an alliance and a platform. Would that really be very difficult if we accept what India is saying? It's a suggestion I'm making. But without the countries that believe in alliance and a platform abandoning that idea, but we say we will work post this meeting to actually find one another, starting with the officials, going back to look into this and working together to see if we can find one another. Because now the risk is that we either won't adopt this declaration at all, or we say we adopt the declaration minus paragraph 10, which is a very important paragraph.
Yeah. China?
感谢主席先生。我们的观点是为了解决这个教育的。
We think to solve education problem, the digital education cooperation is really important, like I just stated. I agree with DG. And we need a way like a workshop, like anything, to push, to promote. So that's why the alliance platform is really important. Is it possible? Is it possible to add something to say that, all details, rules, other things that we will discuss in future within the alliance and platform? Is it possible that we agree the suggestion and we leave the problems? If you really need to give other input, and if you have other concerns, can we leave it in future that we form the alliance and platform rules, and by that time we have more discussion about the details. But now we proceed with this declaration. Thank you.
India. I don't want to take, I'm not allowing this
thank you.
debate.
An alliance and a platform is substantial commitment. Therefore, we may adopt India's version as a first step and then devote all our energies to giving shape and form to such collaboration through existing platform. This we feel, I think, more conducive.
Okay. But India does not, Minister, differ with digital education cooperation. It's only these two words, alliance and platform. So if we can maybe through the DGs get a replacement of alliance and platform so that we adopt it, but on the integrities we will come as DG suggested and China supported, will come with workshops and finding one another. I think that will help us moving forward. Is that agreeable? I want to see by nod from all member states. Is that agreeable? China is agreeing, Russia has agreed, Brazil has agreed, India, or South Africa has agreed.
Shall we check the revised version on this context?
DG, can you help that? If we remove alliance and platform, what could be the better wording that will make us adopt with this item 10?
Thank you, Chair. We welcome the opportunity. We will take the lunch break as an opportunity to finalize and hand over to the Chair for adoption.
Okay. I don't know if food is ready, that we break for lunch, and that will give us at least sufficient time to come back and look at this matter before going to the concluding remarks. Let's break for lunch. Thank you.